It's hard to believe the first month of the year is already behind us. January's over, so it's time for me to rank all 13 new movies that I watched last month. Hey everybody, Dragon Movie Guy here with my first ever ranking for movies that I watched last month. Hey everybody, I am Dragon Movie Guy, thank you for watching, and please let me know in the comments section down below what movies you watched last month and which ones were your favorite. Let me know your ranking in the comments section down below. Let's start off the list with the number 13 movie that I saw in January, Welcome to the Circle. This is by far the absolute worst movie that I've seen in a very long time. It is a horror movie with almost no blood. Andrea Brooks, who played Eve Tessmacher in the Supergirl television show, is the only person I recognize in this entire cast, and I looked up the entire IMDb cast list. The film starts off with a camping trip with a father and daughter. When they fall asleep, they are viciously attacked. 3 good Samaritans stop by and render aid. When we get to the summer camp, the dad finally wakes up. We find out there's more than just the 3 beautiful women that are there, but it's also a cult. This is a film that's very long on story, on exposition, and very short on blood. We gradually find out that the former leader of the group is somehow now disembodied or dead or something, and somehow they switch bodies and switch souls through use of a mirror. They spend so much time explaining that by the time you get to the third act of this film, they're still explaining how it works. Not a good thing for a horror film. Usually you want your horror films very simple, very explainable, and then just get to the killing. Number 12 on our list for January is a Sundance Film Festival movie review. It is also a horror film. It is called In the Earth. In the Earth stars Joel Fry, who you probably recognize as Rocky from the movie Yesterday. Joel Fry stars as Dr. Martin Lowry. He shows up at a summer camp turned medical research facility. Going out in the field with them is a park ranger named Alma, played by Alora Torchia. As they go further and further into the woods, we learn more and more about a local fable about a beast meant to scare children to keep them from wandering off. Bad things start happening. We run into a guy named Zach. He has an axe. You can probably predict what starts to happen next. This is a pretty decent film for the first 2/3 of it, but once we get into the meat of the horror part of the film, it really starts to lose everything that it was trying to set up. It was a really good story arc. It was a really good attempt to make a film while shooting outside on a very low budget and get something shot and done for 2020. I think it misses the mark. At number 11 on our list is Wonder Woman 1984. This is the sequel to the 2017 Wonder Woman movie that we've been waiting a really long time for, starring Gal Gadot, Kristen Wiig, and Chris Pine. This is not an awful movie. It actually has some really good special effects, some good action scenes. I really loved the first Wonder Woman movie from 2017. Patty Jenkins did an amazing job with it, flipping the script on traditional male role model, blah, blah, blah. This is not particularly a great film, however. Wonder Woman 1984 wants to send a really strong message. They just don't know what the message they want to send is. They flow from don't lie to wanting a better life is bad to cheating is bad to a whole bunch of different stuff. They never quite nail it, what it is that they want, the message they want to send in this movie. And because they don't know what message they want to send, the whole thing ends up a little bit garbled, and we just sort of end up with an average film at best. But in the end, all we're left with is a really poorly rendered CGI cheetah battle where she never actually says anything. We never see her turn into cheetah. We don't see her turn away from being cheetah. We just sort of see an artificially darkened CGI cheetah fight with Wonder Woman for no real apparent reason. Number 10 on our list is an MMA action flick starring Sean Patrick Flannery and Katrina Bowden. Born a Champion is an MMA UFC origin story of sorts. It's set in the early 90s. Mickey Kelly is a jiu-jitsu expert who just got out of the military following the first Gulf War. There's very much a can-do spirit in this film, the American dream, work hard, that sort of thing. It's very much in the vein of Jean-Claude Van Damme's movie Bloodsport from back in the day. Sean Patrick Flannery plays Mickey as the reluctant warrior stereotype who can solve fights with his fists but really doesn't want to. Eventually, Mickey is the victim of a cheap shot that ends his career until a shady promoter played by Dennis Quaid sees the tape of Mickey losing to this guy. He decides to offer him a chance at a fight at Redemption, a big payday, It's basically the setup of the first Rocky movie, and eventually we come to blows. It's not 100% great. It is worth watching. It is a lot of fun, and it really has that 90s action movie, fight movie flair to it. It is a good, solid 90s, 80s style fight 'em up action film. If you liked Bloodsport, you'll probably like this film. If you love MMA, you might like this film. Before we get to the number 9 movie on this list, if you like this ranking and would like to see more, please be sure to hit the like button until it turns blue for the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to hit the subscribe and notification buttons to find out the very second I post any videos to this channel. As we get to number 9 on our list, we have an independent movie starring Aubrey Plaza. Black Bear is a drama comedy thriller that's sort of a funhouse mirror looking at itself. This is sort of a story within a story. It stars Aubrey Plaza as Allison, an actress turned director, checking into a bed and breakfast at a lake house to clear her mind. There's a couple that owns and operates the lake house that gets into a romantic triangle with Allison, Aubrey Plaza's character. Overall, this is a well-crafted film with truly interesting layering. The film pulls no punches with any of the characters, going for the jugular and any extreme examples of behavior throughout the cast and crew. Aubrey Plaza gives a particularly Aubrey Plaza-style performance, with the entire film built around that style. So anyone wanting to watch an Aubrey Plaza-style film won't be disappointed. Next up is a modern-day Western dealing with the issue of immigration on both sides of the border. It is No Man's Land, starring Frank Grillo, Jorge A. Jimenez, Andy McDowell. No Man's Land is set on a ranch on the border with Mexico, so far south that it's actually behind the border wall that's being built. Frank Grillo plays the father of the Greer family. He is obviously the head rancher of the family who is struggling financially. Jackson tries to help his dad during a border dispute. There is a shooting, a few people are shot. Jackson flees across the border into Mexico to avoid being arrested. No Man's Land is a really interesting, well-done character study looking at how people on both sides of the border view immigration. Overall, this is a really well-done Western with nuanced performances. It is absolutely worth watching. At number 7 on our list is an action-adventure, the world is going to end type film starring Gerard Butler and Morena Baccarin, called Greenland. This is a ground-level thrill ride that can only end in one place, the aptly titled Greenland. What makes this movie different is the point of view of this movie. This is not a film that takes place with the President of the United States and NASA and the military and flying into outer space with Bruce Willis to blow up an asteroid. This is more of a ground-level film, and it takes a relatively realistic look at what would happen if there was actually a comet named Clark about to hit the United States. Gerard Butler and his family live in Atlanta. When the comet is about to hit, Gerard Butler and Morena Baccarin's family gets an evacuation notice that they are to go to a military base to evacuate to repopulate the Earth. This film does a really good job of slowly building tension and drama as society slowly starts to fall apart and order is harder and harder to maintain. All the characters in this film go on really heartfelt journeys and have unique story arcs that are very realistic and grounded and feel like they would actually be how people would respond if they were going through this situation in real life. In at number 6 on our list is the second of 2 films from the 2021 Sundance Film Festival. John in the Hole stars Dexter actor Michael C. Hall as the dad and Charlie Shotwell as his son, the titular John. This is a coming-of-age psychological thriller that plays out the unsettling reality of a kid who holds his family captive in a hole in the ground. John is at the awkward stage. He's at the stage where he's not really a kid, but he's not really an adult. He's rail thin and hides behind his hair, but a standout tennis prodigy. Eventually, John is given a drone, takes it for a spin, and finds a giant hole in the ground. Eventually, John gets his hold on some medication. He drugs his mom, his dad, and his sister, and he puts them inside the hole. It's a really simple setup. This is basically a Dexter sequel mixed with Silence of the Lambs and Home Alone. This is a really weird movie that gets weirder as it goes along. If you ever wondered what would happen if you took Dexter having his son and what would happen when that son then hit puberty, just like Dexter did in the show Dexter, this is sort of what you might get from a Dexter sequel, not obviously related to the actual Dexter sequel. In at number 5 on our list is a throwback 80s creature feature style film with practical actual costumes, and copious amounts of blood. We're talking about Psycho Goreman. If you like low-budget, campy 80s gore and purposely cheesy, cartoonishly blood horror films, this is the movie for you. This movie even starts with a sci-fi, outer space, evil alien scroll telling you all about the backstory about how the Psycho Goreman came to be. Older brother Luke is sensitive and cautious. Younger sister Mimi is a tomboy who isn't afraid to boss around her meek and passive older brother. Mimi picks up a glowing pink gem off the coffin. They go to sleep. Eventually, Psycho Goreman comes out, kills a bunch of people. Like a lot of great horror films, it's a really simple concept, and it's executed so well. Mimi and her brother have the red gemstone. They're in control of this evil, kills everything thing, and they call him Psycho Goreman. This is a movie that has a ton of gore, a ton of blood, a ton of practical special effects. There's hardly any CGI that I could see in this film. They do a montage where they go clothes shopping, they take him to a diner. Psycho Goreman goes with them everywhere, and apparently he even knows how to play drums. In at number 4 on our countdown is the first movie to be written, shot, edited, and released in the middle of this pandemic that we're in. Of course, I'm talking about Locked Down. Anne Hathaway plays Linda, an American living in London who's really starting to climb the corporate ladder. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Paxton, a motorcycle enthusiast who's not having the best professional luck. Linda recently dumped Paxton for that exact reason after nearly a decade of marriage. However, Paxton and almost everyone around the world just got locked down. This is a film that has a real feel for what life is like right now. You have Zoom calls, you have Skype calls, you have meetings going on over the internet, and you have a lot of people that are really stressed. Director Doug Liman borrows part of the plot from his other film, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where a couple going through a breakup has to go on a journey together. Sir Ben Kingsley, Ben Stiller, and Dule Hill round out a really talented cast, totally phoning in their performances over Zoom and Skype calls. This is a film that has a lot of fun, and if anyone asks you 20 years from now what living through 2020 was like, this is the movie that you should put on TV and have them watch. As we get to the top 3, if you liked this ranking video and would like to see more of them, please be sure to hit the like button until it turns blue for the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you can find out the very second I post any videos to this channel. Now, in at number 3, Drew Barrymore as her own stand-in in a art imitates life, imitating art, imitating life, in a comedy called The Stand-In. Drew Barrymore plays one of the biggest actresses in Hollywood whose catchphrase is, "Hit me where it hurts." Candy Black has been one of the biggest comedy stars for the past 20 years. Paula, on the other hand, has none of these things. As Candy's stand-in, Paula literally stands there. Paula is so overlooked, she's barely tolerated by the other industry professionals there to do a job. Given Drew Barrymore's real-life status as third-generation Hollywood royalty, I can't think of anyone better than Drew Barrymore to play this dual role. The Stand-In balances a light comedy with the entertainment industry looking itself in a funhouse mirror. The Stand-In shows just how invisible stand-ins can be, and as an example, Drew Barrymore's stand-in is not listed anywhere on the credits. This movie is very meta, it's very funny, and it's absolutely worth a watch. In at number 2 on our list is a Dutch language film starring Mads Mikkelsen, all about drinking a lot, appropriately titled Another Round. One of the best cinematic villains working today, Mads Mikkelsen bellies up to the bar as the lead actor in this Danish flick, literally translating to pressure. While a drink or two can help loosen people up and help them deal with pressure, how much is too much? Martin and his 3 closest friends, all middle-aged men and all teachers, decide to conduct a scientific experiment to see if having a little bit of alcohol in their system makes their lives better. Mikkelsen's performance has great range and depth for a character who seems to have checked out at the start of the film. Each of the 4 characters experiences highs and lows as a result of their drinking, with the costs and benefits different for each character. As long as you can deal with 2 hours worth of subtitles, this film is absolutely worth watching. And in at number 1 on our list is a film that I think has the potential to have multiple Oscar nominations, and possible Oscar wins. We're talking about One Night in Miami. Director Regina Hall directs a hypothetical night out with 4 real-life historical figures from the 1960s. The film surrounds a young Cassius Clay about to become Muhammad Ali and about to win his first World Heavyweight Championship. The film also features the King of Soul, Sam Cooke, the greatest football player of his generation, Jim Brown, and of course, civil rights pioneer Malcolm X. Cassius, Malcolm, Jim, and Sam all gather in a hotel room to celebrate. Jim and Sam wonder where everyone is. Malcolm informs them that it's just going to be the 4 of them and they can have a conversation. The movie One Night in Miami is a film adaptation of the play One Night in Miami. Both play and movie are written by Kemp Powers. Miami jumps off the screen. All 4 of our leads perfectly embody the historical figures they're playing. Kingsley Ben-Adir is especially worthy of note. His portrayal of Malcolm X must stand up not just with the real-life Malcolm X, but with Denzel Washington's Oscar-nominated portrayal of Malcolm X from 1992. Eli Gore's take on one of the most recognizable figures in sports history also deserves mention. His role as Cassius Clay, the soon-to-be Muhammad Ali, is more than just sound bites. So that's been my list. That is the ranking of all the movies that I saw in January. But let's continue the conversation in the comments section down below. I want to know, what do you guys think? What movies did you see in January, and how would you rank those movies? Also, let me know what you thought of my list. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. What did you think of the movies on my list, and should they be higher or lower on this list? Where would you rank the movies that I ranked? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, you can check out all of the individual movie reviews that I did for the month of January on ReviewNation.net. Links in the description bar below this video. And if you liked this ranking video and would like to see another one like it, please be sure to click right over here. This is the ranking video that I just did for the Sundance Film Festival 2021. Right here on this video, just go ahead and click that link right there for my Sundance Film Festival 2021 movie ranking list. I've been Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.